Welcome back, fans. Welcome to another edition of Cooking with Mark. Today we'll be demonstrating black bean burritos with baby spinach. It's a real simple recipe. It only requires a few ingredients. A can of black beans, which we'll rinse and mash, chopped baby spinach, and an onion chopped up. And then some spices, some cumin, and some chili powder, and that's really about it. And then any kind of toppings you want. Sour cream, avocado, and of course salsa. So let's get started chopping, all right? Okay, so first we chop the onion, which I do like so. Cut the top off, cut the bottom off, and do a little slice here. So you take the first layer off, and get rid of all those skins. You don't want those in the food. And then take several cuts like this and slice it. Then take about 2 layers at a time, chop it once across, and then chop it like that. Again, slice it across, and then the opposite way. And once more. Voila. Now the tears come. Next we chop the spinach. Now I take a big pile of it and just bunch it up like this and just chop away at it. Now remember, it might look like a lot, but the spinach really cooks down quite a bit. So chop more than you think you need, and looks like you don't need to add it to the bean mixture, then you can just save it for salads later. Now the last thing we do is just rinse the beans. Now you can use any kind of generic black beans. Try to get the ones without sauce with it. Sometimes they are, it's a waste by that. So just pour it in a strainer here. And rinse them out, get all that slime out of there. You don't want to eat that. And the beans will produce enough liquid on its own, so we don't have to worry about it. So just give them a good rinsing. You rinse them off like so, try to get all that water out of there, and then let those sit for a few minutes while you get everything else ready. But that's just about it as far as the prep goes. Our next step is to heat up the onions. So I've got a nice non-stick frying pan here, and add a little olive oil to it. Spread that around. Get the pan nice and hot. It's going to cool down as soon as you put the onions in there. Add your onions. And then you want to saute these for probably 5 to 10 minutes until they're translucent. Stir them up every once in a while. Keep an eye on them. Don't walk away and let them burn. Okay, the onions are looking pretty good here. At this point, we add the beans to them. Let them cook for a minute or two, and we'll start mashing them all up. That should just about do it. So just have at it. Nicely mashed up. If they get too thick and the mixture gets too dry, you can either add a little bit of water or a little chicken broth. But this isn't rocket science, so if you're baking, you really have to be careful of your ingredients and your measurements and all that, but when you're cooking stuff like this, it's pretty forgiving. So there we go. Now, add a little water to that. Mash it up a little bit more. At this point, I'd like to add some spices. So any decent grade chili powder, sprinkle it on top. Or you can make your own. I just buy the store-bought. This is McCormick's from Costco. Add a little garlic, because no dish can have too much garlic in it. That's my motto. Stir that up a little bit more. It's looking like wallpaper paste here, but don't worry about it. I'm going to throw the spinach in here and that'll take care of it a little bit. Okay, and then I like to add a little cumin, so, well, a lot of cumin. About a heaping tablespoon and a half. Let's add up a little more. Well, it's starting to look pretty good there. And then we add our spinach. Now remember, this cooks down quite a bit, so click a lot right now. Once you start mixing it up, it'll be down to nothing. Add a little water at this point. I like to cover it for a minute or two just so the spinach gets steamed a bit and it'll cook down, and then we can mix it up a little bit more, and then we're ready to stuff the burritos, or the tortillas technically. And there's your mixture, all ready to go. Ready to rock and roll here. Doesn't that look beautiful? Now at this point I like to heat the oven up, get it nice and warm before you start assembling your burritos. And I like to heat my oven up to 372 just because I can, but it is digital. However, if you have a more conventional oven, you can go either 375 or 350. I like 375. Okay, now for the final assembly. You have to wait till the mixture gets a little cool because you'll be handling it with your hands a little bit, your fingers. And get a little scoop of it and put it right down the side here, maybe in about 3 inches. You don't want to be too skimpy with this, but remember you're going to be rolling it up. So you do it like that, and then take any kind of a cheese of your choice. I use a Mexican blend, but you can use any grated cheddar and sprinkle that on top. Again, you don't want too much because when you're baking it, it's probably going to spill out a little bit. So now, here's how you fold it up. Fold it from the bottom, and then from the sides, like so. Keep rolling it. There, very simple. Now you put it on a cookie sheet. I would suggest using one with sides because this tends to, when it's baking, the cheese tends to pour out, and you'll have a real mess in your oven. So just keep doing that until you've used up all the mixture. You'll probably end up with a couple extra flour tortillas, so you can save those for the next time. And there we have it. I managed to get 5 burritos out of 1 can of beans, and these puppies are ready to go in the oven. For those of you who've never cooked before, I'll demonstrate how you put something in the oven. Now watch, this is my technique. Yeah, everybody has a little different style. That's all on the wrist here. You open the door, slide the tray in, and very important, you want to close the door to keep that important heat in. Okay, here are the burritos, fresh from the oven. They're nicely toasted, just a light brown. And now to put some toppings on them. So here we've got it all dressed up and ready to go. I've topped it with sour cream, some hot salsa, a chipotle salsa, and fresh avocado. It looks pretty smaczne, as they say in Polish, which, as you would guess, means tasty. Ready to dig in here. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed yourself and hope you learned something. Feel free to stop by again.